In the beginning, the hype is all centered around case diameter and lug width. Endless shopping, endless product specification pull downs. You're buying watches to match all the third-party straps you bought on Amazon. It's toxic. It's like binge eating with no dietary restrictions. It feels good, and the adrenaline of the purchase might outweigh the fact that maybe somewhere down the road, you made a wrong choice. Proper wear and understanding dimension is a nuance that I only recognized after I had been collecting a bit. The baseline is always the case diameter, but the truth is that alone will not get you the full perspective of the watch and its dimensions. Everyone has a default. For me, I default diver style between 39mm to 43mm. Second place is a classic 3-hand sports watch between 36mm and 38mm. Nuance is understanding a 39mm diver's watch can actually perceive to wear smaller than a 38mm classic 3-hand sports watch. But how can that be? If you've been following the channel, then you've probably heard me say perceivable dimension. If you've been on Watch YouTube, you've probably heard Teddy say something like, wears like a 40mm, or wears smaller than its proposed case size. It's the same thing. What that is dial aperture, or dial to bezel ratio. I have before you two 42mm watches from Sternglass. On the left, we have the Hamburg Chrono, and on the right, we have the Marus 2.0. Although both 42mm, the Marus 2.0 will perceive as smaller on the wrist because of the smaller dial aperture. Dial aperture is the size of the opening of the dial, without the bezel. Divers' watches usually have thicker bezels, which gives the perception of the watch being smaller than it is. Next, comparing the SKX to the Marus 2.0. Believe it or not, the SKX has a case diameter that is 0.5mm larger than the Marus 2.0. What contributes to the SKX looking smaller than the Marus though? It's the dial aperture. The SKX dial aperture is 2mm smaller than the Marus. Another contributing factor is the lug-to-lug measurement. The SKX is shorter on the lug-to-lug. Lug-to-lug measurement is the vertical measurement of the watch from one end of the lug to the other. A shorter lug-to-lug is better, especially for smaller wrists. This is probably the best example in my collection of how dial aperture can create an optical illusion effect. Believe it or not, both of these watches are 39.3mm in diameter. The Grand Seiko SBGA 027 has a much larger dial aperture with no contrasting concentric elements. The Seiko 5 SRPK17 sports a friction fit bezel and has a contrasting concentric minute track that flows along the outside of the dial, which creates the illusion of a smaller dial. The tonneau style case and lack of lugs also plays into this watch's perceived smaller sizing, giving this watch an amazing wearing experience, I think closer to a 38 to 37mm watch.
Tonneau.
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 Tonneau. Tonneau. Case height, or case thickness, is another dimension that plays a major role in how a watch can change, despite its diameter. Comparing my Tudor Black Bay Heritage 41 versus my Raven Endeavor 2, the Raven is 2.2mm larger in case diameter, but 2mm shorter on the lug-to-lug, and 1.8mm slimmer in case thickness. On paper, the Raven would most likely scare away most of you due to its case diameter, but when on wrist, the Raven actually wears smaller than the Black Bay Heritage. And when looking down the barrel, it's the most noticeable. Balance plays a major role in longevity. Watches that have better sizing and feel great on wrist get more wrist time, and more wrist time builds a connection. 99.9% of the time, nobody actually gives a fuck about what watch you're wearing. And our one toxic trait is, we wish they did. All the time. Out of 100 interactions, it's maybe one person that might fancy whatever it is you have on your wrist, and for me, if you're wearing a watch to try to grab people's attention, well... For me, a watch is a personal choice, a talisman representing something other than a shiny object that costs money. It's life events, tools, and practical acquisitions. Sometimes I wake up and just feel like buying a watch. In any which way it comes about, there is always some intentionality and meaning behind it. Not every watch has to fit perfect, and there can be room in your collection for some statement pieces for sure. I think for your everyday carry pieces, it's crucial to know about how dimensions play into wearability that go beyond just case diameter and lug width. Any words right now you'd like to share?
You know, I think that in my 48 years of life, I've learned a couple things. One is it's gonna be very hard. Yeah, you're messing up my shot. No, you guys were just messing around. Oh yeah. Anyways, back to what I was trying to say. Like, no, it's hard to get respect, man. You know what I mean? I can put some respect on my name, dude. I earned it. You know what I mean? I was kidding.